Welcome to Women of Courage, where you will hear the stories of courageous women, women from all walks of life who have faced significant challenges along the path of their life journey. Women who have tapped into their inner resources and found the courage to confront, to overcome, and to triumph. I'm Ann Miner, your host for the show, and my guests have all agreed to share their experiences so others may learn from them. It is my hope that these stories will inspire you, that knowing you are not alone in facing the bumpy road of life, you will be motivated to keep moving, that you will take action and courageously pursue your own dreams and passions, no matter what obstacles are presented along the way. Just as our women of courage have won over their challenges, you can too. Stay with us. We'll be back with today's Women of Courage in just a moment.
If I were brave.
3, 5, 4, 5.
Jack the Giant Slayer.
Order now on Rogers On Demand or RogersAnyPlaceTV.com.
Well, it lets me see what it's like in the adult world of working, since I'm working with mostly adults, and I can see what real life jobs look like. So it gives me better experiences. Plus, I do want to go into TV and film production when I'm older. So it's the perfect kind of volunteer work that I can do to show me what it's really going to be like when I do that when I'm older. I enjoy learning new life experiences and meeting new people, and I really like to see the behind the scenes of TV and production.
Please rise for the Honorable. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? Can you tell the court
Welcome back to Women of Courage. I'm here this evening with Karen Geerts. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you were able to be with us this evening, and I want you to start at the beginning with your childhood story.
Well, I grew up in a small town, and everybody in town, the majority in town, had small-minded views. You grow up, you go to school, you get married, you have children, and that was almost pretty much the extent of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But so exactly what I did. I went to school, got married right after I was 17.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty young to leave home. So what was going on at home that made you want to escape?
Well, we were farm people, and you had to work out on the farm all the time, and life was a little bit tough, and I thought it was a better way out. So we decided to, I met my husband when I was about 16. We dated for about a year, and then we got married, and I guess that's what I figured was my out, was getting married and moving away and hoping for a easier and better life.
And what were the things you were trying to get away from?
I think a lot of it was the hard work out in the fields, and there wasn't much to do in a small town. I was hoping there was something bigger and better out there in the world.
And school was tough, I remember you told me.
Yes, I was in the older grades before I realized that I was dyslexic. So learning come very, very hard to me. I didn't realize that I was dyslexic, so I had to pretty much teach myself that different way to read, different way to write, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So now you're away from home, and you're married.
Yes.
And you start a family.
Yes. My first child was born about 1.5 years after we were married. And a couple years after that, I had another one. And a couple years after that, I had another one.
And they were all boys, right?
And they were all boys. They're all almost exactly 2 years apart. And then I decided we were going to have one more. I was really hoping to try for a girl. So I went to the doctor for my usually physical you have before you decide to get pregnant and things like that. And he had found out at that time that that I had cancer. So needless to say, getting pregnant wasn't in the picture. So I had a rapid growth pregnancy, or a rapid growth cancer. So it was moving really fast. So they had to do a full C-section or full hysterectomy within about 2-3 months before it started spreading too fast.
That was pretty quick.
It was, yes. So I went in the hospital, and not knowing, they put me up on the 3rd floor, and the 3rd floor is the maternity floor.
Oh my goodness.
So needless to say, I was wanting more children, couldn't have more children, and all these women were up there
With
having
their new babies.
With their new babies.
Oh, goodness, Karen.
It was, that was a hard toll to get over, so, but yes. But we put one foot in front of the other one, and I did have 3 children at home, so I went home and I carried on with my life and raised the boys the best you do with the tools you have. And as a result of hardship growing up and job and 3 children and everything else, and I got quite depressed after I'd found out I got cancer. And it turned into an anger issue for me. And I was losing my family, my job, and most people around me. My anger got out of control. So of course, the doctor gives you medication for it. So I started to study a book called The Course of Miracles, and it gives you a different aspect of life, the outlook of what life should be, how to get over your anger issues. There was quite a few lessons. We studied it for about a whole year before we got through the whole book.
Now tell me who you studied that with.
There was one of my sisters was in the group, and about 5 other people that studied the book along
And was
along
it all
with us.
women, or was it men and women?
It was men and women, and some of the men had alcoholic problems and different things like that in their own way. They all pretty much had a lot of issues to deal with too. And the book was wonderful to, if you studied it, to give you the right tools that you needed to get past all of that kind of stuff. So it was actually, it really, really helped me out in the long run. Yes, so I managed to put one foot in front of the other one and carry on, and life was much, much better after that. So.
And you two and your sister had dealt with alcoholism in your childhood as well without really knowing it.
Yes, true enough. Like most, you grow up and your father goes off to work and he comes home at supper time, and Mother was always a hard worker. She was always out in the fields and working her hardest to help support us as children, and she always kept the family together because Father was always off working, or
you
so
thought he
we
was
thought.
working.
Yeah. We thought he was working, but needless to say, the first while I guess he did work really hard, but then he got so he was spending more time in the hotel playing cards and drinking than he did anything else. So of course, kind of woman my mother is, she always picked up the pieces, made sure the bills were paid, the children were looked after, and kept us all together as a family. So that led him to enable him to become an alcoholic because he had no responsibilities except for himself. So it usually enables them to do that.
Interesting. And you told me a cute story, though, has a sort of a funny twist about dinner time and how it was that your father came to be home at dinner time.
Well, most small towns, or any town, had 1 or 2 hotels in them, and considering this is where he spent a lot of his time, the man that owned the hotel closed it at supper time for an hour and a half. So it made all the men that were there go home at supper time. So I just figured he was home from work for supper, and that's all there was to it. And by the time we got ready for bed, he'd already left again. So we didn't really see a whole lot of him. But my father was an alcoholic, but he was never an abusive alcoholic. But still, all in all, an alcoholic. So, but it was, he grew up to see the light too, so it was good for him too. So.
Well, interesting that masked the reality of his days. Huh?
Yes, it did. You know. But.
Well, we're going to take a break here in just a moment.
Okay.
And when we come back, I'm going to get you to tell us more about what came after.
Okay.
Okay. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment with more of Karen Geerts' story.
If I were brave,
here's a self-defense technique you can learn in less than a minute. A high inline wrist grab. My hands are up in a defensive position. I don't want them to hurt me. Nice thing about this, my hands are already up. I can protect myself from this far hand, but I still need to get away. I need to escape from this person's grip. One thing I do not want to do is create a tug of war. The biggest person's going to win. What I'm going to do is I'm going to escape between his thumb and his fingers, which is the weakest point of a person's grip. To do so, I'm going to roll my hand, my thumb over, drawing it to under my opposite arm. As I do so, I'm going to scoot myself back, creating a safety space. So my hands are up, I draw it, I create that safety space. Let's look at that one more time a little quicker. My hands are up, he grabs, I escape. There's one more tip to help keep you safe.
For parents who have heard the dreaded words, "I'm sorry, there's nothing more we can do for your child," Emily's House says yes, there's still more we can do. Emily's House is Toronto's first children's hospice, providing support to children and their families living with life-limiting illnesses. It will open its doors by the end of this year. Together, we can provide care when there is no cure. Please give generously to Emily's House.
what step would I take today if I were brave?
Welcome back to Women of Courage. We're here with Karen Geerts. We're going to pick up your story where you left off there, Karen.
Okay.
And I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about the Course of Miracles and what that program that you went through on a self-study basis really involved.
Well, it made you look deep inside to find out what your issues were all about and why you even had the issues, to know them, to bring them forward. And then it gave you the tools to go through the issues on certain levels. You know, like there happened to be one person that really always made me angry and whatnot. In order to get past that, I picked up, it was suggested in the courses that I do something for this person, and so I thought, well, okay. I went and bought a long stem pink rose, walked over to her house, tapped on her door, and asked her for her forgiveness. And when she said yes, I knew deep in my heart that she was going to say yes. I handed her the rose, and we have become friends ever since then. And it was just over a silly issue that I thought, well, it wasn't silly at the time, but it was just an issue that I knew I had to get through. And through those kind of lessons, I have learned to let a lot of that kind of stuff go and move forward and have more, a better way of thinking. So it's changed my thought system around a lot too. It was a wonderful book.
Well, that's a great recommendation.
Yes.
So, Where are you now?
Now, been married for 40 years. I'm quite happy.
So that young husband was a good pick.
He was a good pick. We've had our struggles, and just like any relationship does, it wasn't all peaches and cream. So, but we learned to keep ourselves muddled through it, and I can't really see my life without him. So he's a good man. So.
And your children are grown?
Yes, I have 3 adult boys, and they are doing very well in their life. I have one in the Air Force, and I have 2 that, one is a licensed machinist, and the other one runs a big metric system at the shop that he works at. So they all have done really well. And out of 3 boys, I have 10 grandchildren. Wow. Love being a grandmother. So that's what's really good has come out of my life. And now that I'm a grandmother, I have brought a charity to town. And the charity is called the Power of Hope. And HOPE stands for helping other people every day. And we put pajamas and teddy bears together for the less fortunate kids at Christmas time.
And isn't that a wonderful thing to be involved in? So how did you get started with the Power of Hope?
Penny Jameson approached me at a vendor's
trade fair?
At a trade fair, yes, and asked me if I wanted to. She was telling me about it, and then I thought, geez, that's a really nice thing to be doing.
And she's the founder, is she not?
She's the founder of it, yes. And she asked me if I wanted to jump on board and bring it down here to the Woodstock area. And I thought, well, it was a good thing, so I'm thinking our own community could use it. And when I was looking into it, I found that there was a lot of children out there that don't have grandparents or something like that need a new pair of pajamas. As Pajama Gramma.
You were telling me it's a tremendously high number of children in the Woodstock and area.
Yeah, in Oxford County in our system, we have a good 500 children in our system.
Wow.
And in my heart, I feel that every one of those children need a new pair of pajamas for Christmas.
Well, certainly that was a tradition in my family.
Yes.
And it was my grandmother, too, that provided new pajamas every Christmas. So.
Yes, I think it's been fantastic with the people I've met and the givingness that's in this community is tremendous. I have found I haven't run into any bumps whatsoever as far as preparing to get the pajamas ready for the children for this coming year.
So tell us about some of the things you've learned to do since you took on the Pajama Gramma and the Power of Hope.
Well, my networking skills come in quite a bit. I have learned that no matter what walk of life people are in, like everybody now and again needs a helping hand. And the people that are out there are just very, very gracious too. I couldn't ask for anything more going forward. So,
you know, tell us how you collect the pajamas and how you and the stuffies, as you call them.
Well, we put on fundraisers. We raise all the funds ourselves. We're not government run, so through different programs that we do, like there was a dance we put on, and there was a craft and vendor show we put on, and we're having a few barbecues, so things like that will raise enough money. We're hoping to buy the pajamas that we need for the children, and of course through donations, people can donate their stuffies or a pair of pajamas.
Now, you told me an interesting story about, I think it was your first event in Woodstock that you held last fall and had children come.
Oh yes, we had Christmas in September, and we had a barbecue, but we had a Christmas tree, and we had Santa Claus come and give candy out for the kids, and we had all kinds of games and games for the children to play, and a bouncy house, and all of that. It was really, really good evening. It was really well.
And what did the children bring?
Oh, the children brought one of their stuffed toys and a handful of pennies. And they put the handful of pennies in a jar to help pay for the pajamas that goes with the stuffed toy that they had brought me. So I guess that was teaching the children to give back to their community at a very young age. I think it's important that they...
And it was one of their own.
Yes.
One of their own stuffed toys that they were giving, was it not?
Yes, they had to bring me one of their, didn't have to maybe be their favorite one, but there was a few children there that did bring me their favorite teddy bear because another child needed a teddy bear to go with a pair of pajamas. So it was really, really nice to see that all these children, you know, did it without even hesitating, you know, so.
So Karen, with that journey, starting from your own childhood and through the various things that you've experienced in life, what message would you like to leave our audience with today?
No matter how dim life can feel, there's always a rainbow at the end of the day. I think there's always some kind of help out there if you reach out and look for it.
And the rainbow is the symbol of the power of hope, is it not?
Yes, it is. Yes, at the end of our Christmas in September last year, there was 2 big rainbows come out in the sky, and storms went around us, but the rainbows showed in the sky. It was just absolutely awesome.
And I bet you thought that was a sign, didn't you?
It was most certainly a sign.
And now, a few words of wisdom from a wonderful, wacky, one-of-a-kind woman, Jezebel Peppa, who will share with us her thoughts on the themes of today's episode.
Hello, darlings. Jezebel Peppa here. Darlings, tonight I want to take you on a journey to make a new friend. You don't have to go far to find her, but you do have to go deep. Not going to be hard. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out and buy a hat. All right, I can hear a bunch of women going, but I don't look good in a hat. Yes, you do. That's poppycock. Everybody looks good in a hat. You just don't recognize yourself when you're wearing one. So go out, find one that tickles your fancy. Find one that you'd look at and say, sure wish I could wear that. Buy it. Take it home. Put it on your head. Stand in front of the mirror and gaze at that woman looking back at you. Get to know her. If you unleashed her to the world, what would she be like? Would she throw caution to the wind and be spontaneous? Would she care about what other people thought of her? Would she do something that you would never do? Get to know her. Don't have to do it all at once. A little bit at a time is fine. But when you're comfortable with her, I want you to try something. Let her help you make the odd decision in your life. And if you do, you'll be amazed at what could happen. So celebrate the new friend you make. And guess what? You'll be celebrating the Jezebel in you.
Skateboard is a safe place to participate in physical outdoor activities.
I'm Jed Lau, host of Simply Cooking.
Brought to Oxford County by its Scottish inhabitants, tug-of-war has been a popular sport in the area since the 19th century. Requiring only a rope, it places 2 teams against each other in a test of strength and determination. In the early 1890s, Zora's team, composed of Alex Clark, Robert McLeod, Ira Hamason, William Monroe, and Robert McIntosh, were well-known local champions, and in 1893, they competed in the World's Championship held at the Chicago World's Fair. All farmers, and all in their late 40s, the men were outweighed by the American champions. However, they were victorious, and the mighty men of Zora returned home with an ornate trophy, which is now housed at the Woodstock Museum. The tug-of-war continues to be a crowd-pleaser at the annual Embro Highland, hosted by the Zora Caledonian Society every year on July 1st. To find out more, contact the Woodstock Museum and check them out on the web at www.woodstockmuseum.ca.
If I were brave.
Thank you to our guest, Karen Geerts, and to Jezebel. You know, every guest on Women of Courage takes home with her a beautiful floral arrangement from Fernley Flowers and an autographed copy of my book, Succeeding in Spite of Everything. Remember, in every setback lies opportunity. Opportunity for you to call up all that you have learned through your personal experience and from experiences of others, to rely on your core beliefs and values. Find your way through to new opportunities and to succeed in spite of everything. Until next time, be courageous.
You could have anything. Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, with the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line at 519-660-7548 or email us with your comments.
The opportunities they give you, I don't think you'll find anywhere in London, that's for sure. Everything from mobiles, calling hockey games, to reporting, interviewing people, editing, anything you can name. Working in studio, using the camera there, doing audio, doing graphics. If I was talking to somebody and they were considering Rogers TV, I would tell them that you'll leave the station every day with a smile on your face.